everybody, it's me, Kenneth, and I am joined here by the Italian translation team. We have Fulvio Merlino and Isabella Popani. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to Course Miracles Explained, and I'm very excited, and I'm always very excited to be interviewing translators. I have read a little bit about both of them on the Foundation for Inner Peace website, where there are individual bios of every translator. If you like to, you can go and check it out. I will provide the link on below. But today we are going to talk a little bit about the translation process in Italian. So guys, I've got lots of questions for you, but I think I'd like to start off with, how did you guys meet in the first place?
Well, we were friends. We met. I'm not sure, and Fulvio may correct me, but I think we met during a rebirthing workshop in Milan.
So.
There was a friend of mine inviting me during a session in this workshop, and I shared with them, and then Fulvio called me saying, "Isabella, I know you're studying a Course in Miracles and you're doing some translation. Can we meet?"
Yeah.
And so we started.
That's how it started.
Wow.
And we met with Sergio, who's not part of the group anymore.
Yeah.
We met in my house an afternoon, and it was a wonderful afternoon. I will never forget it. We were just sharing our own experiences with translating the course, because we were just doing that on our own. Personally, I started because I said, okay, if I want to do that by myself, I can just put it in my computer and that's it.
Right.
And so I was doing it. And it seems that each one of us was doing the same thing. And so we wanted to find a way to share what we were doing separately and compare it, or it's like deciding not to do them by ourselves anymore.
Do you remember that there were other people who were interested in the translation? There were 6, 7, maybe 8, 10. What was amazing for me was that it was not translated into Italian. Not yet. Isabella was amazed by that. Because how could a book like this not be translated?
What year was this?
It was 90s.
90s.
93, 94.
Yeah, because I went to the United States, it was 93 or 94.
Yes.
Because then we contacted Kenneth. Before I went to Finland for a seminar on the course.
Oh, yes.
Michael Dawson.
Yeah.
Yes, Michael Dawson.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Michael Dawson, yes. Yes, because that's a good point. I met A Course in Miracles in Finland.
Oh, you found A Course in Miracles in Finland?
Yes. I was in Finland for the first time in the 86. I was coming from a big experience in my life that brought me to Finland in the 86. And there was a friend of mine in the bookstore that said, "Oh, you see this book? I think you should read it." I took it, I looked at it and said, no, my English is too rusty for that. I cannot do that. And so I put it back. From the 87 on, I started bringing groups, Italian groups in Finland. And it was in the 87, there was a group of Neapolitans with me. And I could see them putting their hand in their pockets and taking off a piece of paper, reading it, and then putting it back in the pocket. And I said, "What are you doing?" And one of them said, "Well, we are doing A Course in Miracles." And I said, "Oh, I might buy it," which I did. And I bought it. And as soon as I was back home, I put it in my shelf, in my library up there. And it stayed there till the end of the year, when I decided to do an angel meditation. It was a meditation with the angel cards. And the angel that came that year was forgiveness. As soon as I draw the angel, I said, forgiveness. Okay, I know it's time. So I took the book and I decided to do that.
Wow.
So that's how I started.
That's beautiful. That's such a beautiful story.
So Findhorn is a common point for Fulvio and I, in a sense.
Yes, I would love to go as well. I've never been.
Oh, you're very near.
Yeah, I know it's in Scotland.
Yeah.
And you know, that to me is very meaningful. So why was it? You know, it sounds like a stupid question, but you know, I guess both of you, your first language is Italian, right?
Yes.
And so that's why it was important for you to translate the text into Italian, so you could better understand it. Or did you already understand it well in English?
Didn't understand it in English, not in Italian as well. Because I could fully understand it. You know.
So you didn't understand it, period.
Yeah. So,
I remember I was going to Findhorn. It was the first time in my life. And I stopped in London and in a B&B. And on the bed table there was a Course in Miracles, because I tried to buy it, but it didn't come from the United States. So I found it, the green penguin Eddie edition.
Yeah.
And for me it was fantastic. It was like the honeymoon. I was in love with it. I didn't go anywhere, just reading A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
I saw my, I don't know, it's in fact people always say same things like, you know, I found this and that. That was really the feeling I had. Because I had been looking for, searching, but after a couple of years, even rebirthing, bioenergy, all kinds of things. But after a couple of years, I just left without regret. I also was an Osho sannyasi and all that kind. But I left all these things without regret.
Right.
Of course, no. This is the difference.
And I think that's
you can't leave the course.
You cannot. You cannot what?
Leave the course.
You cannot leave the course.
Away from the course.
Yes. Yeah.
This is my experience.
Yeah.
It's not something that you have. There is an association, and you are there. Then you disagree, and then you go away. No, it's totally different. It's not like that. For me.
Yeah, and I think that's actually very well said, and I found that as well, because I did a lot of searching. You know, I went through so many systems, but when I found the course, I knew, you know, this is something that, although at times I will have problems with it, I will never throw it out the window. You know, it will always be something that I will come back to in the hardest of times. And tell us a little bit about why is that?
I don't know exactly. What I can say about myself is that, first of all, I wanted to share and let people know that there was another way. And so the point for me is another way. So from that moment on, I kept looking for something different from what I was used to see in my life. So the key word for me is, what is another way? What does it mean? Where I can find it? And when we met, I felt that, as I said, we spent a beautiful afternoon together. When they left, without even asking them, I felt the need to write to Ken and to the Foundation for A Course in Miracles, as well as to the Foundation for Inner Peace. I sent the same letter to both of them. I knew they were looking for translators, and I felt we could do that, because I felt that same union that afterwards I discovered that was the same union that was between Helen Shackman and Bill Thetford. So what I felt was just that Sergio and Fulvio and myself were in that same context of having a common goal, letting people know that there was another way.
Yeah. And is Sergio still around?
Sergio is around now. He's become a Buddhist, and he's following the Buddhist path.
I see.
So he was part of the translation process, but now he's involved in Buddhism, and we are still friends.
Of course.
We divorced, but we're still friends.
Of course, yes.
Oh.
So, Fulvio, tell us a little bit, I want to get back to you, because I think that point is really important, because it sounds as if you've done a lot of searching as well. So what about the course, and just to reiterate Isabella's words, that it really is another way for, and in that sense, it is something quite different from a lot of other paths. What would you say to that?
The main difference is the world does not exist. There is no world, and there is no way of adapting ourselves to something which is an attack on God. It was the first time I really heard this, because many pathways try to do something in between. Yeah, you see. Well, does the world? Yes and no. Well, maybe it's an illusion, but it is this. No compromise at all. So drastic. Everything which is not of God. There is no life outside of heaven. I like these very short statements, because, but like stones, like very, very, very strong. 2-3 words, and you'll never forget it all your life. Never forget.
Yeah.
And that's the thing for me.
Yeah.
I really need something very, very clear. Something very clear. I know all this kind of, because I've been in New Age for many years also.
Me too.
But certain questions were never asked, were never answered, I mean. And especially things which have to do with death or time or space, because I also like this. I read some books about quantum physicists and things that I was interested in. So I don't know. I think this is it for me.
Yeah. No,
very in the very important things. It doesn't say you say yes, no.
Yeah.
There is not something in between.
Yeah.
Which is where the ego tricks. It's in the space for me, in between yes and no, which is there in the capsule.
And another thing that struck me was the sentence about the competition with God. We are in competition with God. Yes, we are in competition with God. I thought I wanted to, to be loved by God, to love God. What does it mean? And discovering that what we do is just being competitive with God is amazing. And what the Course gives me, that the other path that I didn't, is about this world being an illusion that allows me to take it less seriously.
Mm.
And I need to thank Kenneth Popnik about that.
Yeah.
Because we are too serious about what the world is, and we are too involved.
Yes.
So it helps
we forget
me not
to laugh.
Yeah. And it helps me not being too attached. This doesn't mean I always succeed in that, but at least it is a way to follow.
Fear of love. It was the first time I had so clear the idea of fear of love. It's fear of love, but it's what we are looking for. We're looking for love, we are looking for bliss, we are looking for all these things. But when the course was very, very clear, we are not really looking for love. We are really afraid. And this really struck me. It was really took my breath away. I mean, I had very also hard times with the course. Hard times.
Oh yes.
Well, not so smooth. It is not so smooth. No, but it is.
Yeah.
I remember myself calling Fulvio on the phone saying, "Fulvio, are you sure that the course says this?" And he said, "Yes." But are you really sure? I was able to accept that. And so we are still supporting each other in this.
Yeah. And was that the translation process? I'm sure that must have been quite challenging. For how did you guys manage? Did you guys take different sections, or was it a simultaneous work?
No. What we did was that we divided our work, our job. Let's say you do chapter 1, I do chapter 2, and so on. Then all of us checked the translation of others, and I did the final editing.
Right.
Well, editings, many of them, because there were many mistakes. Then there was a discussion: shall we put this or that? How do we say this? Which word are we using for this?
Then by the contact with the Kenneth, word by word.
Thousands of questions.
Thousands of questions.
Thousands. Because I know it's not clear in English as well, but in Italian we have a particular grammar. We don't have the neutral, and sometimes the word "it" can refer to many things.
Yeah, the Chinese translator was saying the same thing.
Yeah, and we have feminine and masculine.
Yeah.
And if "it" is not clear, we can misinterpret what we are saying. So it wasn't that easy, but we were a good team, and we also had huge discussions on some of the terms. For instance, I remember something about putting the subject or not in the lessons. I am the Son of God. I am the light of the world.
Mm-hmm.
In English, you are compelled to say I am.
Mm-hmm.
In Italian, you can omit I.
Right.
And so the discussion was about, shall we do it? Shall we put it or not? And some agreed with saying, yes, I am. And others said, no, it's too egoic and we shouldn't use it. And so we spent a lot of time also in this kind of discussion.
And what was the final result?
We put it. We decided to put it. But, at the same time, when we teach it, we can say what's behind the decision of putting it, which is not I, because I'm an ego self that wants to be the one who is the light of the world, but it's affirming our true identity. So.
And sorry.
Do you remember Teresa Pasquetto, Teresa Blanchard?
Yes. There was a moment in our work when I wrote to Whit Whitson at the Foundation for Inner Peace and say, Whit, I cannot cope with everything because I have to translate, I have to put, I have to do the editing, and then I have to put all the corrections in the computer. So can you authorize us to find someone being willing to put the at least to put the correction in the computer? And he said, we cannot afford extra costs. We weren't paid at that time because that was in that moment, that was a voluntarian job. And Teresa Blanchard came up. She was living in Chicago, I think. Chicago, yes. And but she was originally Italian. So she came back to Italy because she felt called by the Holy Spirit to do that. And she did with us a huge amount of job.
Wow.
She was coming to my house every week. I was giving her the job, and a week later she came back having done the job, and she was going back and forth with this. And
wonderful.
It was great help, and I want to honor her because she left. And I want to thank her personally because she used to come with her brother, and she shared with me, we need to rush, we need to finish this job, I want to go back to the stage. And at the same time she was saying, I felt something is happening to my sister. I'm not fear of dying, but I know it's going to happen something. And I said, well, maybe Teresa, you need to accompany her. And I will never forget the phone call I received that the three of them died in a car accident. And the job was completed, and she left.
Gosh.
It was at the same time when my mother died. It was an horrible time at that time.
It was 99.
It was in 99. My mother died in that couple of weeks. So.
Did the course help you?
Sorry?
Fulvio, did the course help you in dealing with your mother's death then?
Well, after a while, not immediately. In my dark moments, I always fly to 10. Of course I can. And they really helped me. I remember after many years also, because I remember once I was still in Milan. I was a very dark period. I was in a relationship. I didn't understand. I was confused. And I wrote to Ken. At that time, there was no internet, things like that. And I remember that when the answer came back, the letter, I just started laughing. Well, because the answer was so strange. I mean, it just, I don't know, it just took me to another different point of view.
A little part of?
A different point of view.
Oh, right, okay.
Which was very schiacciante, what would you say, which was take me off the kind of route I was following with my mind. That was my feeling. I didn't understand. To tell the truth, in the moment when I was down, I didn't really understand. But it was afterwards, and not in that moment, but afterwards, I thought I understood it. It's like sometimes had to elapse. Sometimes before this thing So I also take time now in a different way. What I think is that if changes is so slow, that's my way of seeing things, that you realize it after a while, after a long time. Maybe I am lazy or slow, but I know that it's not laziness, so slowness, as I would say, but fear.
Right, it's resistance.
It's fear, resistance, fear. A lot of fear.
Yeah.
That's what I think. A lot of fear, resistance, and fear, same thing. That's why my experience after so many years.
Well, when we were translating the course, during the process of translating the course, I remember myself, well, we agreed that each month we had to send to the Foundation for Inner Peace a chapter or a bunch of lessons. And initially, they sent them to a translator office to check what we were doing. And then they sent us the correction, and we spent 1 year to try to combine what Kenneth was asking us and what we was asking us. Kenneth wanted us to be literal. We wanted us to be fluid, as if the course was dictated in Italian. So it took to us 1 year. But in all this process, I remember myself feeling, in a way, under pressure. I put the course aside. I had other things to do. I have no time today to translate or to do something. And then finally said, we need to send the material to WIT, and so I have to rush, and I had to get in touch with my resistances. And whenever I got back to the point I left, I said, aha, now I know why I didn't want to proceed. I wanted to stop because I didn't want to read this.
Wow.
So personally, I went through a lot of resistances, and there was a lot to digest. And another thing, I remember writing to Ken on a personal thing, saying, okay, the course says that we are going to undo the ego. My feeling is that my ego is growing and growing and growing even more. And that was the only letter that Ken Watley didn't answer. Maybe because it went lost, I don't know. But probably it was because the answer had to come by itself.
Yeah.
Kenneth.
Yeah, there's very little he can say to that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ignoring the ego, which is what we all should do, really. That's wonderful. I mean, it's wonderful to hear so much about Ken. And, you know, I think it's really important for people to know how central Ken is to the whole process. You know, not just for one translation effort, but for all the translation efforts. You know,
Yes.
that he has to, you know, answer questions from not just one team, but, you know, God knows how many teams, dozens of teams.
Yes. And Fulvio can confirm that. I was the one writing to Ken saying, text 9 point, you know, all the references. And I made many mistakes in the numbering, but the answer was always correct. So he knew what I was asking, and he always sent the right answer to my questions, notwithstanding the mistakes I did when writing numbering.
Yeah, the thing is that he always answers the questions behind the question.
Yes.
Right.
And he is also reference point on a personal basis. Whenever I have a personal question related to the course or to my own life, I know I can count on him.
There was something I wanted to ask about the so would you say then that the final result was a blend of a literal translation and a fluid translation?
Yeah.
So it was that piecing together of both.
Yes.
That's quite interesting. Do you think that's the same for every translator?
In a sense, I think so. Because, you know, there was a person wanting to... I remember one of the... There was a lot of junk translations going around those days with the course. And there was someone who was trying to respect the poetry, wanted to be poetic and translating as if translating Shakespeare, for instance, without respecting the consistency of the use of the words. So it's like atonement had to be translated with espiazione. We didn't like it, and we were looking for different meanings and different words, but in the end, espiazione was the word. And we cannot use espiazione in one point and another word in another context.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be consistent. And the same applied to other words. So being literal and consistent was very important.
Yeah.
At the same time, we had to be to write in Italian. And it's you know, it's easy to write in Itanglish. I don't know how we can say it.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
you have to retain the Italian grammar and style.
Style and
You don't go off track.
of the sentence.
And obviously, through all of this, I guess there must be a lot of, I mean, you can't do it without Spirit's guidance, right? I think at the end of the day, it's really Spirit's job, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess when you were translating it, you must be quite, you must be connected yourself, must be attuned yourself to, I guess, the original author of the course, which I'm sure every translator is.
Yeah.
We also
Well, I was just saying, Fulvio, I was just saying, even if we are not aware of that,
even if you're not aware that we are not aware, especially at certain times.
I think that's inevitable.
Yeah.
I think that's inevitable. Even now, I was saying that we are translating the service, the question and answer service, and we are putting, we have our own website in Italian, and we are having the same service in Italian. And for me, translating the question and answer and doing this continuous translating job is a way of keeping connected to the Spirit, to the author of the course, to the Holy Spirit, or whatever is there with me in doing this. So it's my meditation. Another one may meditate closing their eyes and centering. My meditation is being in my computer with my translator, with my translating job.
I guess
for me, it's listening to seminars in my car. When I go to work, when I am by myself, not with my wife or other people. That's also my connection. Or just having open the book morning. Open in the book in the morning at any time.
Yeah.
Really like to connect.
Yeah. So guys, I'd like to move on to kind of the Italian ACIM community, if we can even call it a community, because obviously it's a self-study course. But I'd just like to hear a little bit about how ACIM is being read in Italy, because I think, as I was mentioning to both of you, I think what we're interested as well in is allowing the English speaking community across the miracles to know about what's happening in other parts of the world. It's not just with ACIM, obviously. The English speaking world thinks it's the center of the world, but obviously the world is more than that. So tell us a little bit about how A Course in Miracles is spreading in Italy, and I know both of you teach where both of you are, and so tell us a little bit about that.
It's difficult. This is a very difficult question to answer. In my opinion, there's a lot of confusion going on in Italy in this moment about the Course. People hasn't really understood what the Course is, what it says, and it's very easy to try to find your own interpretation of what the Course is and what the Course says. It's difficult to accept that there is no interpretation because there is just one meaning. So it's not easy. Also because of the culture, of the Italian culture, which is dominated by the Catholic Church. And so there's part of the culture that's permeated with this meaning to be correct. Also, the figure of Jesus is of difficult interpretation, because for the Course it's a symbol of love, and for the Catholic Church is a person who lived here, which may not be in conflict, but there is quite a difference. And so that's a big difficulty I'm facing. And there's a lot of confusion because there is someone who wants to create a kind of another church, which is not what we want. We have found an association, which is Associazione per lo studio e la diffusione di un corso in miracoli, meaning an association to develop and study and promote the Course in Miracles. We don't have many members in this association, unfortunately, but we keep going. We have created a website, and we declared that we are acting according to the teaching of Kenneth Wapnick, because that's what we want. We are not open to other interpretation. We are reading books of, I'm personally reading books of others, but I'm going back to Kenneth afterwards. So,
yeah, there are translations that people, I read parts of A Course in Miracles translated, but if they hadn't told me that it was A Course in Miracles, I wouldn't have guessed it, because it was totally changed. I mean, it doesn't even resemble A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
Well, what I call wild translations, things like that. And I don't know. I think it's not easy not to feel strict. I mean, in this way.
Sorry, Fulvio, you're talking about other translations of the Course in Italian, yeah?
In Italian, yeah.
So there exist other translations by other authors or other translators.
Yeah. And no. Because I think that spiritual path is always in danger. I mean, not in an external danger, but in internal danger to be boycotted. I mean, that's what I think. I know it's not easy, Isabella, because you think to be too strict, you see, to be an orthodox, like orthodox and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What I don't want is to create a church.
Yeah.
I don't want the rights. I don't want this. This I really appreciate. All external forms. These I really appreciate. I think this is for me the the important thing, that there are not names changed like many these spiritual organizations or things like that. It's not an easy task.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah. Just to give you an example, there was a booklet, a little book that came out recently. It's a mix-up of New Age thing, Course in Miracles, and The Secret. You know, there's the mixture of all these things. This creates confusion because it's called Mini Course in Miracles. And it doesn't make any sense to make it 18 lessons of the whole book. Or you read the Course in Miracles, or you read another thing. Try to communicate.
Like you listen to the Fifth Symphony, the whole Fifth Symphony, or just a little bit, like a jingle for advertisement, like they do. They jingles from the Ninth Symphony, the Fifth Symphony, and things like that. I don't think it's the same.
Yeah, I hear you. But I guess there's we get sucked into that. I mean, I also know exactly what you guys are talking about, and I guess what I've concluded is I just have to keep doing what I'm doing.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's our decision. So we
and not
just
thinking I am pure, I am holier than you.
Yeah.
Because I follow the real mainstream things like that. No. It's fear. The thing is fear. There can be a knowledge or not a knowledge. You can be aware or not be aware. It's also fear if you think you are holier than someone else.
Yeah.
We have just a track and we try to follow it. That's it.
You do your thing and you don't really fight. I mean, it would be against the cause to fight back. No?
And it's always a forgiveness lesson.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, that's it. You know, what we were talking about, the strong Catholic influence in Italy is actually a very interesting point, which I didn't think about before, because, you know, I guess in a sense, Catholicism has been such a powerful force in I guess in expressing the views of Paul, who obviously had a very different interpretation of what, you know, the crucifixion and what Jesus's message was, and he made Jesus very real, and that you know, that force must be very powerful where Italy is, and you know, for the cause to be saying such a thing is actually, you know, quite radical. I mean, I'm sure it's radical everywhere, but you know, I guess some places would be stronger than others. You know, the predominance of a certain idea.
Yes, and I mean, I'm not against anything or anybody. I've decided not to go against anything in my life anymore. It's just a different course. I was grown up as a Catholic, and I don't disregard that. So I was happy about that, but I was looking for something else because I didn't get all the answers I was looking for. And the course completed the picture for me. So I was one of those who wanted to find a common ground between Catholicism and A Course in Miracles. And to a certain extent you can, to a certain extent you can't. Because the streets are just dividing. For one, the world is real, but of course it's not. So you cannot, as Fulvio said before, no compromise. I was looking for compromise, and there is no compromise. Simply.
Yeah.
So if a person comes to me and wants to continue being Catholic, it's okay with me. Just be aware that the meaning is different. I don't mind if you want to change or stay. Do whatever you want. The spiritual path is strictly personal.
Yeah.
So I respect this.
I still think I have a thing with the Church and Catholicism, because in my youth I hated priests in church because I was extreme left, and my I wanted to burn churches with priests inside. I really hated that.
Oh dear.
I had very bad experience, so I still have to heal that. At least, no, I better don't say anything.
You bad boy.
You're definitely going to hell because of that.
Yeah, sure.
That's why all your suffering, Fulvio.
I never like.
No, I won't say too much about myself, but yeah, I didn't have a great time with Christianity either. But I mean, the course actually came for me at a perfect time, because it was an opportunity to heal, all of these false thoughts I had about Christianity. And that was, to me, one of the most important reasons why the course meant such a big thing for me. It made sense that it would come in a form to heal, one of the first kind of spiritual forces in my life, because I was born in a Christian family, but I left the church when I was 10. Then it came again into my life, and I obviously I had to heal this original wound that was Christianity, or what I thought was Christianity. But then, obviously it had nothing to do with Jesus.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with Jesus.
It's nothing to do with Jesus.
And I can understand that people are people. And they make mistakes, and they interpret her, and they, whatever. As we all do.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been such a great conversation, and I've really enjoyed this. So we're just gonna start wrapping up. Is there any final things you'd like to share with our listeners? With regards to studying the course, any final words, I guess.
That's what I have an image. Ken told me once. He told me, coraggio, 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 courage, take courage. Which is not, for me it was a big issue, because I always thought I was a very fearful person. And I thought that courage was not being fearful. But from that moment on, I thought that courage is the going on even if you are fearful. It's not to avoid. Not to avoid. Because avoidance, for me, and I think for many people, was a big issue. Courage. Fearful and courage. That's my image. Isabella?
There's a lot of things going on in my mind at this moment, because there are two things that come to my mind. One was when I was in Roscoe, New York, with Kenneth's workshop, and he said something that had nothing to do for me with the course, but it opened my mind, and I felt myself as a drop of water. I didn't have the courage to go into the ocean. And there I felt the fear of losing myself if I surrender. So the key word for me is surrendering together with courage. And another thing was about the translation I was doing today, our question. We say, that says, we are both drawn to the truth and terrified of it. attracted to union and terrified of being without our individual identity. Believing we are individual, separate human beings, we would have to be terrified of pure oneness. And if we weren't, we would not need the Course or any other spiritual path.
That's beautiful. And it's so ironic, isn't it? It's so paradoxical. We want it so much, but then we're so afraid of it.
Yeah. On all levels. On all levels. I'm a counselor, yes. And as a counselor, dealing with people in their, daily life, the same things apply in their lives. I want it and I don't want it. I want it, but, something similar. So on all levels, we work the same way.
And be kind to yourself.
You have to make a choice.
Be kind to yourself. Isn't I think it's precious for me. Be
Yes.
kind. Be
Kind to
gentle.
yourself.
Especially to yourself.
Yes, be kind to yourself.
Guys, grazie mille. Thank you so
The
much.
pleasure.
It was a pleasure to see you.
Yes, likewise.
I hope we'll meet one day.
Yes, I'm sure we will. We're in Europe. We're not very far away.
All this
Oh, you can fly to the Adriatic Sea or to Sardinia or to both. Who knows?
Yes. I love
Come
it.
and visit.
Yes, I will. I mean, I love Southern Europe. I'm always, I'm very drawn towards, Spain, France, and Italy. So yeah, we'll see. But we'll discuss that offline.
Yeah.
So thank you so much,
Thank you.
You.
and thanks for listening. If you have questions for either Fulvio or Isabella or myself, or you like more clarification on anything they said, or do leave us a comment. I will put their website on the YouTube link. So thanks for watching, guys, and bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye.